Hi there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff, and I'm here with an update video. First things first, I just wanted to apologize. It's been about a month since my last video, and I had intended on coming back weekly, and that just never happened. It's been a weird month. Lots of things have happened between snowstorms and Valentine's Day and wedding stuff and other mental health issues that I know so many of you deal with as well. It's been an interesting month. Today is Saturday, February 27th, and we have our first relatively sunny day that we've had in a really long time. And so I thought, well, I'm going to take advantage and I'm going to record today. So here we are. I have quite a few whips to talk about. Just a very little bit of haul. And then I'm going to talk about some knitting things. I don't expect this one to go as long as the last one. I know that there are plenty of us that really like the long videos. But 2 hours it's a long time. It's like longer than Deadpool. Which, by the way, I'm going to see this afternoon. I'm so excited. But yeah, it was a long video. I know some of you liked it. And let's face it, Sherry Burkett, you, my friend, now holds, it's got to be like the record of longest FlossTube video, which is fantastic. I loved that thing. I had so much fun watching Sherry's video. I should have taken before and after pictures because I was a stitching fool during that movie. So yeah. Anyway, before I ramble on for too long, should we get started with some things? First of all, how are you guys? You good? I don't know why I'm doing this thing like Garrett does. Coffee stitcher. It's a habit, I guess. It's polite, you know, you ask a question and you wait for a response. I guess that's why I did that. Okay, so let's start with the questions from the last video. There were a couple. The first thing that I came across was from Chris Cross Stitcher, and she asked, what happened to all of your books? She mentioned that it used to be where they were stored back there, and now I've got yarn and a whole mess of things over there. And I have since moved the books, so you can't see them right now, but I've got 2 other rather large bookshelves here that my mom gave me that she didn't have space for in her home, so I was like, well, yeah, sure. So I'm going to insert some pictures here so that you can see what they look like. What you're going to find is that it looks like I need more bookshelves. You'd be right. Too many books. I shouldn't say that because that's got like a negative connotation to it. I don't have too many books. I just have a lot of books. All books. I didn't take a picture, but on the top of this shelf on this side here, there are stacks of my advanced reader copies, most of which I got at Book Expo America in 2014. Looking at possibly going next year. This year they're having it in Chicago, and I really just want to get back to New York City. So, Blimey Cat Stitches, I'm going to come visit you next year. If you're still in New York. Who knows? Anyway, so I do still have the books, Chris. They're on here. They're on this side. To be totally honest, if I'm in here in the office, which as of right now it's kind of rare, more often than not I'm stitching elsewhere. I don't have my stitching spot quite set up in here. The plan is that I'm going to have a chair right there with some sort of light fixture. Maybe an OT light, maybe just the light that I'm using now. And I'm going to move my stitching spot here. Over here, which you can't see and I'm not going to move over, but there's a closet, and inside the closet is my desk with a printer, as well as a television. So I think it'd be really cool if I could set up my laptop to watch FlossTube on the television that's in there. And this will kind of be like my mom cave. Not really a mom, but whatever. I'll take it. It's a cave. It's mine. Okay. She also mentioned that every time she sees my Persephone, she sort of feels like a failure. Chris, stop doing that to yourself. Your Persephone is beautiful, and we are both behind, and that's okay. Every time I work on her, I think, I'm going to finish her in the next 2 weeks. And then a week goes by and I've got like this much done. She's big. I mean, she's a very large undertaking for a Mirabella. So don't feel like a failure. You'll get her done. Or you won't. It's not a big deal. Let it go. I'm getting really good at that this week. Yeah. Shadow 5618 asked about my shades of wine, and if I was planning on doing the shades of orange to, excuse me, we just ate lunch a little bit ago. If I was planning on doing shades of orange so that I could sort of do them together for our wedding sampler. And that's exactly my plan, so that it looks very hokey, maroon and orange. So it's like the two of us, they go together, you know, but it still looks good, and it doesn't matter, like, it's not, to me, it's our wedding sampler, but to anybody else, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It's just art, really. And then she was asking questions about the wedding. So, my wedding is on May 28th of this year. Yep, that's 3 months from tomorrow. Cue the panic. I don't have time to be panicking. Like, I don't even have enough time to panic. But I did get my dress last weekend. 2 weeks ago. Ooh, so excited. I want to talk about it, but I don't want any details leaked out on the internet in the off chance that my fiance hears anything about it. So post-wedding, of course, I'm going to share pictures with you guys. You'll see it. Don't worry. The question was also asked about our colors. Yes, our colors are pink and gold. We're looking at like a peony, sort of a blush petal sort of pink, and a shimmery gold. So not like yellow gold, but like shiny gold. And then ivory to sort of finish out the palette. We're going to Blacksburg next weekend to go for cake tasting. And I'm going to see if we can't do like a gold to pink ombre kind of style cake. Very, very exciting. As far as guests are concerned, we're looking at about 80 guests. We had looked at doing a full size with somewhere between 100 to 150 guests. And then we looked at a very small, so just family, and there is a group of people that we tailgate with at Virginia Tech that's become family for both of us. Sort of like more aunts and uncles. So including them, that was about 60 people. Well, with the space that we have, we can actually expand it a little bit. So we're doing 80. So some friends and mostly family. And it's going to be a good time. It's not so much that I'm going to be like I'm going to have enough time to spend with all of my family and friends. I wish that I could invite all of you guys. Like, how cool would that be? Just have a wedding and hang out and stitch. I don't know why that thought comes into my mind, but it did. Anyway. So yeah, that's the plan. Weather contingent, the ceremony will be outside. But we do have, we have a backup plan. Our location is at a hotel. So don't have to be concerned about all that. Our reception is in the same building area space as the ceremony. Just ironed down a photographer. That's very exciting. I'm so excited because when you wait until you're 3 months out to plan your wedding, options become very limited. And I ran out of them very quickly. So I am very blessed that the photographer that we've just ironed down, I love her style, and she's available. Well, she's not anymore. So that's very cool. And then the crafty curator, Letitia, asked about, at one point in one of my videos, I had mentioned potentially doing the Alessandro Adelaide. She's got a design where it's 2 rings, and one of them is a diamond ring, and the other is like the man's ring or whatever. And I was talking about doing those in beads, and I loved that idea. And I was so excited to do it. But it's been done like so many times now. Like I've seen 4, maybe 5 or 6 of those now. And it's lost its uniqueness. It's lost its draw for me. I still want to do a design 100% in beads. I know that the Evergreen Needle, Kelly, she's talking about doing cirque de cirque in all beads, and I love that. I want to do an all bead project. But I'm not going to do that for the wedding sampler just because I've seen it. And I don't want... I don't know. I just don't want to do the same thing as everybody else. Does that make sense? So yeah. So those are all of the questions. Thank you guys so much for asking them. More than happy to answer any questions you might have. Like I said last time about me, about my life, about stitching, knitting, just don't ask for tutorials. I'm not very good at those, as evidenced by the fact that I haven't done any. So, let's move on to whips, shall we? Okay, so it's been about a month since I last recorded here, so I've got basically all of February to go through. So let's start at the beginning. The first project that I worked on at the beginning of February was my pumpkin passport from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Just as a reminder, I am doing this on a 32 count Belfast in Properly Primitive from the ever lovely Leslie from Under the Sea Fabrics. And obviously I got Paris done. This is all of the recommended materials and done as charted. Nothing fancy, but I stinking love the Eiffel Tower. Really, really like that. I am kind of sad that the Arc de Triomphe is not in this one. It's one of my favorite pieces of architecture from Paris. So I'm a little sad that that's not there. But that's okay. I like it anyway. I love the Louvre. Very pretty. It makes me think of, this is terrible, but Da Vinci Code? Or is that Angels and Demons? Angels and Demons. That's the one that it makes me think of. Just because, if you guys have seen that, it's with Tom Hanks. It's an adaptation of the Dan Brown novel. But in the movie, you know, it talks about how the chalice versus, I'm not going to be able to think of the terminology, but essentially the Louvre is like an upside down chalice, and then underneath the Louvre is the chalice itself, relating to the mother of Jesus, you know, kind of a thing. Anyway, every time I see the Louvre, it makes me think of that. No, I have never been to Paris. It is highly likely that they may do... I have a feeling that New York is probably going to end up on here somewhere. And they may do DC. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I have a feeling that New York is probably going to make an appearance, and that will probably be the only place that I've been to, unless Toronto or Chicago or Vegas. I've been to Vegas. Anyway, I have not been to Paris, nor have I been to London, nor have I been to anywhere across the pond. I need to get traveling. Okay, that's enough of that. Love this. I love the fabric. It's been really, really nice to work on. I still really love the grains. Oh, you can see my back. Isn't that fun? Her eyes look creepy. Okay, I'm going to turn that back over because she's creepy looking. So yeah, loving it. I debated putting in the French flag, like so many are doing, on top of the Louvre to mark that this is Paris, but I kind of know that it's Paris, and there isn't a French flag on top of the Louvre. So, I mean, I know there aren't birds in Paris that are practically the size of the top, I don't know, 200 feet of the Eiffel Tower, and Paris is not just a scooter ride away from London, but what I like about this one as opposed to the Clouds Factory one is how true to color they're staying. So it feels important to me to not include the French flag. I may go back and fix the English flag, Union Jack. May go fix that later. So there's that. Okay. Moving on, we have the Clouds Factory postcards from the world stitch along. And what do you know, guys? It's Paris. Here's what I like about this one. I like that Notre Dame was included, as well as the Arc de Triomphe. I always have to say that with, like, the French accent. I don't know why, but I do. As a reminder, this is on 28 count Monet cachet linen from Picture This Plus. It's a gorgeous purple. What I don't love about this block is the colors. I don't love that the Eiffel Tower is pink. I love what, I'm trying to think. I know, I just watched it the other day. Who was it? Who are you? Somebody on FlossTube, and feel free to lay claim to it in the comments so that I know who you are and so that proper credit is given. Excuse me. But they changed the colors of particularly these two, but also the Eiffel Tower, just to be more architecturally correct, I guess you could say, because Notre Dame is not blue and green and orange. It's just not. I do love our buddy Jacques here. He is quite adorable. I love what Katie and Garrett have done by adding their initials to the little bistro sign. So I think I'm going to try to stick in a J for Jacques, as well as for Jessica. What else do I like? I really love the little bistro table and chairs here. I don't know why, but that's just adorable to me, and it makes me want to go sit at that bistro and just look at Parisian architecture. Love it. You will remember from our last conversation about this that I was going to try to stay a border ahead, and obviously I have not done that. To be totally honest, when these parts come out in the middle of the week, it takes me so long to get them completed. It takes forever for me to do them. And so by the time I do finally get it done, I want to move on and I want to change projects. I want to say that it took me 5 days to get both Pumpkin Passport and Clouds Factory done. And that's a little excessive. I mean, they're rather small blocks. They take a while. Because I come home from work and I'm tired. And we eat dinner. And then I want to go to sleep. So, let's steal a sip here. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about. I'm not sick. Like, physically. Mentally, a little debatable. But physically, I'm not sick. I don't have strep. I don't have a cold. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like the first time this year. It's just glorious. I have had a cold since our last meeting here. Anyway, you will remember my goals for February were to work on 3 of my 2015 WIPs this month. When I finished both of my stitch-alongs, I pulled out a project that was a 2015 WIP. I was having a hard time deciding, so I just went with the oldest one. And the oldest is my, this is 32 count Belfast in Ariel, that's the fabric. The project is the 20-year celebration Shawl from Passion Ricalement. And I was working on, excuse me, I have to organize this blanket. I was working on the second block the last time you saw this. And I have finished her skin. And I am so stinking proud of that. Look at that. Her skin is done. The back stitching is not. Most of her bodice is done. I did the, she's got like an armband that's almost done. Actually, that is done, minus the beads. And I just have a little bit of her hair to do, and then she's done. So I am well on my way to getting my 2 blocks done this year, which is fantastic. This was an interesting piece to work on because about halfway down her arm, I almost considered putting this project in a UFO bin because I don't know what I'm going to do with it when it's done. And there is a lot of work left to do, but I persevered and I got through the rest of the skin, and it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I'm going to finish it. It's going to take me another 10 years to do it, and I don't care because I bought this project for a reason. I was attracted to it from the start, and so I'm going to finish it. Plus, I accomplished this one, which is easily one of the most skin-heavy blocks of this whole project. So I've essentially overcome the biggest hurdle, other than, you know, it's gargantuan size, but it's the point. So there we go. There's that. Starting to lose the light. We're gonna keep going. Like I said, persevere. Okay, so week 2 was my new start. I started Shades of Wine by Northern Expressions Needlework, and I'm just going to kind of insert a little bit of haul information here. So these were the colors. On the top we have Shades of Wine, then we have Cherry Wood, and Dusty Rose. It's like a soft pink. These two, at first glance, are very much alike, but the Cherry Wood is just a shade lighter and also less variegated. And those are the only 3 colors that are needed for this whole project. And I also got 40 count Alabaster Newcastle linen because it's an easily repeatable one, which is going to be the same fabric that I use for Shades of Orange. And I got started on it. And I got very little done. Part of the reason is that 40 count is intense. It requires some big brain power to be able to work on it. And when I'm tired, and my eyes are tired, you know, I'm just not in the mood. So I didn't get as much time to work on this as I wanted to. Secondary to that, I haven't had one yet today. I should knock on wood, but I've had a headache or a migraine for the last I don't even know how many days, 20-something days, a very, very, very long time. And so it's hard to work on 40 count when you're battling a headache. So anyway, this is stitched 1/2. And that's as far as I got. So the only color that I've used thus far is the Shades of Wine. And you will see that there are some very much lighter sections to that thread, but I like it. I really like how it's playing out. This is just the top left corner, so long way to go left yet. But that's okay. I really love it. It was either... It must have been Shadow. Shadow 5618 had mentioned that she was still working on her wedding sampler, and they had been married for 7 years now. Yeah, that's probably about where I'm going to be once I get both of these finished. But that's okay. It's not a race. Not a race. Okay. So, Shades of Wine. And I'll get back to that eventually. As I say, with every other of my 20-some odd whips. So then, I still had a Sunday left on, I technically had a Sunday left on my Shades of Wine. But I decided not to use it. I just decided to work on something else. Because I didn't have the brain space for 40 count, and I just kind of wanted just to move on. So I did. And I went back and forth between this and another project, and I just went with this because this was my focus for a finished piece this week. So this was one of my 8 whips that I have chosen that I really want to get done this year, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. So I just started working on this one a little bit early. This is my Persephone by Mirabella, and you should be seeing now what it looked like last time. And here's where I am today. Look, guys, she has an arm. Like a whole arm. It's all done there. All connected. And I even got her armband, and she's got like a little flower there behind her. I also got her entire bodice finished. So her dress is done. Bodice, skirt, and all done. And I did a little bit of work in the skin up here to try to get up to her shoulder, so that I have a jumping off point to measure up so that I can start from her hairline and work her skin down from there. It's easier to count in chunks going that way. So that's what I've done. I love her arm. It's a weird thing to love. I know that. But I do. I just like the way it turned out. So there we go. There's my Persephone. Man, I love her. I am greatly looking forward to having her done. I can't believe that I am still working on her. I mean, you guys know last year I thought that I was going to try to get her done before the end of the year. And obviously that didn't happen. And here I am still busting my behind to try to get her done. Still hasn't happened. So anyway, so she got Sunday through the following Sunday. She got quite a lot of attention. So there's that. This fabric is 32 count Belfast in Tempest. Yes. By Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. So while I was going back and forth on what project to work on, I sort of told Tracy to pick for me, but I told her to just pick a number. And she didn't like the first option, the first number that she picked. She didn't like the second number that she picked. So finally we got to the third number she picked, and apparently that one was good enough. So, Tracy, this is for you. This is my August quilt by Paula Vaughn. I showing you that side? Okay, I am. And so, sorry, there's somebody walking. What I got done was I finished out organize yourself. I finished out the shutter here, and then I worked on the wall here out through the window. The window's cool. It is 1 strand over 2, but it looks really good, you know? Like, I understand the effect of it. Looks really nice. And then I worked a little bit on the wall this way. And that's pretty much what I got done. I should have been able to do a lot more because I was home a lot this week. Pretty much all week, actually. And so I should have been able to get a lot more done, but sometimes when you're dealing with some things, it's hard to stitch. So, anyway, love this. Love this. It was hard to put down, but there was a project that was calling to me just a little bit louder, and so I did put it down. In the end, I did. This is on a 32 count Belfast by Zweigart, as evidenced by the orange label. The project that was calling to me was doing so because somebody on my Instagram feed is working on the full-size version of this, and she got to a point that I was really excited about getting to on mine. The project that I'm talking about, I'm trying to find the cover page. There it is. This is Mini Pirate by Sabine Rich. So that's what she's going to look like. And again, mine is the mini version. The part that I was really excited about was the giant red feather in her hat. I don't know why, but I think it's because of the yellows that I'm working in. I was just ready for some color. I've been doing browns and yellows since I started this thing. I'm not that far into it, so I shouldn't be complaining, but nonetheless. Anyway, so I got to work on this the other day, and I got to the edge of her feather. So here we are doing this awkward thing again that I do when I'm like holding up projects that are currently on my frame. I posted this on Instagram yesterday. Was it yesterday? I believe so. Mini Pirate Giant Dragon Needle Minder. Which is so true. That needle minder is enormous. But I love it. So I did get to the edge of her feather. I'm about halfway down that third column there. Do you guys see? Let's see if I can. There we go. You see how that's a little bit darker right there? I wasn't going to bring it up, but seeing it on the camera, man, it really stands out to me. So it shouldn't be darker. But somehow I got makeup onto that thread before I stitched it. And so it really darkened up that thread in that spot. I think it's okay, and I'm not going to rip it out because I hate ripping out 1/1. Kind of hate it a lot. I think it's going to be okay because the interest in the piece is going to be drawn away from that. So the eye will be drawn away from that, even though I'm always going to see it. But it's kind of like the phallic symbol that's in my mini pearl. I'm always going to see that. Anyway, so there's Mini Pirate, and I'm going to continue working on her. I would really like to get a half page done. I don't think that that's going to happen, only because Tuesday is February, or Tuesday is March, not February. Time's going even faster than my brain can comprehend. Tuesday is March, and so that's changes things a bit. So anyway, so there's my Mini Pirate, and I'm going to get to work on her and see if I can't try to get, if not a half page, then almost a half page. I have all day tomorrow to stitch, and maybe Monday. We'll see. It's kind of up in the air at this point. So anyway, so those are my whips, and that's all that I've worked on in February. Not a ton, but still, I've made progress on some things, and some significant progress on particularly Persephone. I'm really pleased with what I've done for her. The end is coming. I don't want to say it's in sight, because she's one of the most heavily beaded Mirabellas in existence. So, yeah, long way to go on her yet. But nonetheless, we're getting there. My nose itches, just in case you wanted to know. I know that's the part that you guys most look forward to in my videos. Okay, so up next we've got haul. Okay, so for haul this time I have very minimal interesting bits. I've already shown you the threads that I got, my dinky dyes for Shades of Wine. I also bought some needles. I use primarily size 28 peacemakers. Those are my favorites. And I also bought some more flossway bags. And some Anchor 403, which is Anchor Black, because I'm using it in my Heaven and Earth Design Personal Sunshine. But also Raven Queen and something else. And I also got 3 packs of the DMC rings. These are the 2.5-inch rings. These are primarily what I put my projects on, especially if I'm using the flossway bags. They'll go in a ring. Some of my projects don't even have rings. Let's see if I've got one here. What do you know? All of my examples here, they have rings. Anyway, so I just got a few more packs of those. And then, this is kind of leading into my plans for March. For some reason, I got it into my head that in March, I'm going to do something a little weird. For me. And it kind of goes against every plan that I've set for 2016. But whatever. I don't care. I'm not holding myself to anything at this point. So my plan for March is to do mostly monogamous March. In other words, for the most part, I'm going to work on just one project for the entire month. The reason I say mostly is because I am still going to be keeping up with my stitch-alongs. So postcards and passport. They're still going to get their time in the sun beginning March 1st. But after that, once I get those done, it's going to be this project right here for the rest of the month. What spurred this on was that there are several stitch-alongs in March that I want to participate in. Stitch Mania's It's Not Easy Being Green. I believe it's Cross Stitch Finish Lines. Let's see, we've got Molly's Birthday Month Sal, so work on something you love. There's a Princess Sal somewhere. There's a Mermaid Sal somewhere. There's a Mirabella March. See where I'm going with this? So I was trying really hard to find one project that could encompass all of those. So I did. But it's got to be a new start, which is okay. So the project in question is Bluebeard's Princess. Her name is Mirabella. And this is obviously designed by Mirabella. She's green. She's a princess. She's a mermaid. I love her. It's perfect. And purple. I mean, purple. I love purple. I'm stoked. I don't know about you guys, but I am stoked. So I believe that Tracy wants to play along with the Monogamous March. Or mostly Monogamous March. If anybody else wants to join in, let me know. And we'll see what we can do. I'm planning on doing some very Well, I want to take pictures like a before and after. Before is really obvious. I can take that right now. Ta-da! This is 32 count Belfast in Knix by Under the Sea Fabrics. And it is a deep, deep dark blue. This was fabric of the month for January, I think. No, I don't even know. Yes, because Winterbrook was December. Gosh, I hope so. It was a fabric of the month for one of those months. And so Mirabella is going to go on this one. And I think she's going to look really cool on this fabric. I haven't done a floss toss yet, but I plan on doing so either today or tomorrow. And I'm going to kit her up so that I can start on her as quickly as possible after I get my sales done. I think that I may try to stitch on her every day in March. Like maybe until I get the sales done, I'll do 20 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes every day on her, just to do something every day, so that I'm keeping in line with Mostly Monogamous. Now, I know the question that you're all asking me. I can think of two. First of all, you want to know about my focus for a finish. And I'm not going to do that this month, because I'm going to stay mostly monogamous. That sounds kind of wrong. Mostly monogamous. If my fiance ever told me that he was being mostly monogamous, ooh. Anyway, I don't know why I went there. But I'm going to let the focus for a finish piece go this month. And I'm going to work on Mirabella. The next question that I know you're asking me is, Jess, what are you going to do about the skin? I think I'm going to stitch it one. For those of you that couldn't hear me whisper there, I think I'm going to do it 1/1. And I know I said that I was never going to do a mermaid skin 1/1 ever again. But working on Persephone, I really like how it looks. Working on the mermaid on my 20-year celebration, I really like how it looks. I like her facial expression. I know most of them look really snotty, and even she does, but I still kind of like it. She's got, let's see, 4 Cairn water lilies, 4 Chronix, 8 packs of beads, and 3 packs of Mill Hill treasures. She's a busy lady. She's going to be gorgeous when she's done. I am so excited to see her on the Knix. I know that Doodlehead Stitches, who, if you're not watching her channel, you should be. She is doing Mirabella on either Gothic or Haunted, one of those Picture This Plus fabrics that's a little bit on the deep. I'm pretty sure it's Gothic that she's working on, and it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning on that fabric, and I think that I'm going to achieve something very similar on the blue fabric. So yay. You know, the funny part is that I was, as I always do, I was watching my previous video before I started recording this one, and I noticed that when I showed that fabric, I had talked about maybe doing Mirabella on it, and I had totally forgotten that I had already thought that. When I was first trying to figure out what project I was going to do for all of these sales, I was like, I'm a genius because I just thought of this. But I had already thought of it. So, I don't know, I guess I was a genius twice. I don't know, does Double Jeopardy apply to thoughts and ideas? I have very strange ideas. So anyway, that's what I hope to do in March. Those are my March plans. Passport, postcards, mermaid. I'm strangely excited about that. Like, it's calming to just know what I'm going to work on. So, that's that. So let's get on with everything else that I want to talk to you about. So we're skipping reading again because I'm still not reading. And I haven't bought anything, books-wise. I've thought about it. I almost pulled the trigger on several book orders, but I've taken a step back. I haven't done it because I'm not reading. I don't need to be buying books if I'm not reading. What I have been doing a lot of is knitting. And I'm not really sure why. But nonetheless. So the first thing, I have 3 finished objects to show you. In knitting. 2 of them have not been blocked. The third one doesn't need to be blocked. The 2 that have not been blocked that need to be, the ends aren't yet woven in. So this first one I have to show you, I showed you last time, it is the Summer Flies shawl. And I finished it. So it's very little. Oh, you can really see where I switched skeins there. Should have been alternating. But nonetheless, I really like it. When I get it done, I don't know that I'll wear it like this because it is a ruffle at the end. On top of that, it's a picot. Maybe I will wear it like this. It needs to be blocked quite a lot. It needs to be stretched out so that you can see the ruffle. I went from almost 200 stitches to almost 400 stitches on the needles in order to finish this. Obviously that strand won't be there once I weave it in. So the last time you saw this, I was working on the knotted open work, and then ruffle edge and picots, which are those little guys. They take forever, but I like them. I do like them. So, summer flies. And I will need to get blocking that. I'll be honest, I don't have any blocking wires, so like all of my shawls are not blocked. I need to fix that. I need to order some blocking wires and start working on really finishing these because I would like to use them. I would like to wear them. This was knit out of Madeline Tosh Pashmina, which is a merino silk and cashmere blend. Very luxurious, and also giving it that shiny factor. Summer Flies shawl, I can't remember the designer's name. But it's patterned on Ravelry. And so there's that. The next one is another little shawlette. This is the project that I was working on last time that I was like, I don't like it. And so I didn't really feel like showing it. Now that it's done, I still don't love it, but I like it better than I did. That's the approximate I was about to show you. So, this is Piper's Journey, designed by Paula Emmons Feasley. And I knit this also out of Pashmina in the Posy colorway. And it's garter stitch and then knitted on edging, which is where I was the last time that I talked to you guys. And it just takes a while to do knitted on edging because you work in this direction as opposed to this direction. So it's a lot of stitches to handle. I mean, it's beautiful, don't get me wrong. I love the border on this. And when it's blocked, go figure, it's going to look really nice. I made a few mistakes with it. One of the things that I didn't like was the edging here. There's the eyelets for the actual edging, but then there's additional eyelets. And I don't know. I didn't care too much for them. I was also doing something that I wasn't supposed to. I was slipping the first stitch on each row. Oh, you can see the eyelets better that way. They look nicer that way, actually. But I was slipping the first stitch on the edge here. And so what that means is that it made it pretty solidly like this length, like I can't really stretch it much more. I like the slip stitch edge, but I can understand why the pattern recommended not doing that. So, anyway, another one that needs to be blocked. And I think that I think this one will be worn It's not. I'll have to block it out and see how I'm gonna wear it, because it's not really long enough to wear like a shawl. It's not gonna like cover my shoulders or anything. I don't know. We'll see. It's like a great shawl for a little one. We'll see. We'll see. It's also a very luxurious blend. I mean, you know, merino silk cashmere, that's a pricey yarn. Anyway, okay. This next thing I'm going to show you guys, and I have a feeling that there's going to be a few of you out there that are going to be like, I want that. And I have a feeling that you won't be shy about it, because it's adorable. And it features an animal that, let's face it, most everybody likes. So this is a hat, and when they have buttons, they'll look even cuter. But do you see the little owls? How cute is that? I'm going to put this on. So it's a little long, but it's done like that on purpose. The reason that I kind of like it a little bit long is if I wear my hair up, it can go in there, and that'll be fine. The other thing that I thought was really cute is that I can tuck up the brim to sort of shrink in it a little bit, and it looks like they're like tucked in bed, but you can still see the little owl heads. I think it's adorable. This yarn is Cascade 220 Superwash, which is a worsted weight merino nylon blend. Yeah. Ooh, hair. Good grief. Sorry to anybody who doesn't like it when I touch my hair. And the colorway is Doeskin Heather. And let's see if I can point. Right there. You see those two? Those are going to be two more of these. These were commissioned by one of my old coworkers who found a picture of this hat and said, Jess, will you make these for us? And I said, yes, if you pay for the yarn, I will make them. And so they picked 3 colors. And so I'm going to knit all 3 and then let them decide which ones they want. And the third one's for me. If any of you want one and you don't knit, contact me and maybe we can work something out. I'm not promising anything, but I have a feeling. I knew when I was knitting this and I was planning on showing it to you guys, I had a feeling there was going to be some interest in this because everybody loves owls. They're just adorable. Eventually they will get little button eyes, but nonetheless, there they are. So that's the, it's an owl hat by, can't remember who. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's a poorly written pattern, but I was able to, with modifications, get through it. If you're on Ravelry and you're a knitter, I am Hokie Knits. If you want to find me, that's Hokie Knits. And I have my notes on my project page for it. So there's that. So those are my finished objects for the last month. Like I told you guys, a lot of knitting. And then my one work in progress is this beautifulness. Almost done with this skein, but I have another skein. This is the spiral cowl. And it's coming up darker than it is. Let's try over here. The colorway is called Wisteria. And it is it's a yarn by Malabrigo. It's their silky merino base. So I believe it's 51% silk, 49% merino. So very silky. The It's a free pattern, so I'm okay to tell you this, but basically it tells you to knit and then do these eyelets and then fold at the eyelets and stitch together so you get picots, which I don't know how I feel about that version of construction, but it looks like it's going to work out pretty well once I figure out how to sew the two together. A lot of people have done a provisional cast on, and I got too far along before I was like, oh, I should have done that. This is for the Eat Sleep Knit 2016 Yarn-a-thon. And at this point, it's really easy. It's the same pattern repeated all the way around. And I'm going to keep going until I run out of yarn. That's basically what I'm going to do. This is a progress keeper that I put in for just for my own reference. I was wondering how much I got done yesterday while we were watching TV. So it looks like I got about 8 rows or 1 repeat done. And so yeah, really like it. Very simple. This yarn is really a lot of fun to work with. It's a single yarn, and singles just means that it's not plied. It's kind of thick and thin in spots. There are some spots that are really, really thick, and some spots that are, I wouldn't say that it gets very thin. It's no thinner than a sport weight in some spots. But I really like it. And so yeah. So I'll probably have this done by the next time I record. Quite easily, if I'm honest. So yeah, there's that. And then I'll probably have 2 more of those owl hats done because I need to get them done as quickly as possible. They take me about 4 days to knit up, and so I need to get them done. So yeah, that's all I'm knitting. Quite a lot of knitting. Yeah, I knit a lot of solids. That's interesting. I didn't realize that, but like it's mostly a blue shawl, a pink shawl, a brown hat, and a purple cowl. I don't have a whole lot of variegated yarns. I do have a few. Not very many. Anyway, that's kind of all I have for you today. I know that, where was that dot going? Not entirely sure. Oh, I know that there's a tag that I want to do. And, but I'm not going to do that today. We're trying to leave for the movie here in about 20 minutes, so I better get going. But I hope that you all are having a wonderful week and a good weekend, and I hope that you're getting lots of crafty things done. I hope that you are well, and I will talk to you guys next time. All right.